Well, high decibel political noise and violence has been the trend in the poll-bound state of West Bengal. Strange sort of normalization of political murders and violent clashes between the TMC and the BJP. Well, the BJP is battle-ready, aiming to form the next government in the state, and the TMC is equally determined to guard its reign. After BJP President JP Nadda's convoy was attacked in Bengal, BJP has upped the ante. This is ahead of the ECI's team's visit to Bengal next month, and Home Minister Amit Shah reaching the state very soon, likely this week, and all the more interesting turn of events as we await. Now, let's take you through what are the key allegations that have been made by the BJP in their representation to the Election Commission so far. What are the key things that they are arguing? First of all, they are saying that they must deploy paramilitary troops and control the law and order situation. The argument here is that you must have the central forces on the ground because there's a spurt in crime, political violence and custodial atrocities. That is why they are saying central forces should be there, arguing that it was BJP Chief JP Nadda's convoy that was attacked in full police glare, TMC unmoved with the complicity of the state administration. Now, if you move forward and you talk about the role of the local police, they have been in the line of fire. BJP, all guns blazing. You also saw the sort of confrontation that happened between the Home Ministry and the Chief Secretary of the state. Enforce the model code of conduct 6 months before the polls. Now, this is an unprecedented demand made under Article 15 of the Representation of the People's Act. BJP argues that in the breakdown of a law and order, in that scenario, you can read these provisions into the Act and have a model code of conduct much earlier. There is bias, discrepancies which are seen in the draft voter list. And this is a huge allegation to make because they're saying infiltrators, illegal people crossing the border from Bangladesh, Rohingyas are now becoming a part of the voter list. That is what BJP is saying. The state ECI officials are violating the rules and acting like puppets of the ruling government. A big charge against the State Election Commission officials as well. Rohingyas, infiltrators being registered as voters. Those are the key allegations that the BJP is making in that letter, in that memorandum that was given to the State Election Commission today. So we discuss and debate that will the violence overshadow democratic process? Will the election be free and fair in the state of West Bengal? Or the violence will in some way hamper this entire democratic exercise in the state of West Bengal less than 6 months ahead of the assembly elections? Well, joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, the BJP national spokesperson. We also have Mr. Subir Bhaumik, who's a senior journalist and a political analyst. We also have Mr. Manojit Mandal, he's a political analyst. Vijay Shankar Pandey, he's a former bureaucrat. Dr. Geeta Bhatt, she's an academician. Thank you everyone for joining us on the broadcast. Manojit ji, it is only fair that I begin the debate with you because we began by highlighting all the allegations that the BJP has been making. Let me reiterate some very serious allegations of voter fraud, list being manipulated, state government employees complicit with the government in manipulating the election process. How do you respond to all those allegations?
I think these are baseless allegations. You can understand from the last election that they fought in 2019, only 1.5 years ago. The BJP won 18 of the seats. So was there fraud voting when BJP won?
Yeah.
But these are bizarre charges. I mean, you had an election conducted by the Election Commission of India barely, a year or so ago. Nothing happened. We had another election, by-elections, in the month of November last year. Nothing happened. The Election Commission is in charge of all those issues. And these kind of charges BJP, they keep making because they know that they are also losing their grounds. Nothing is also going right in their own house. Everybody is talking about TMC and all.
Yeah.
But look at their own house, how the BJP is, fighting with each other. I want to see a leader from the BJP who will actually sort of lead the party for the 2021 election, and that's why they had to they are projecting the Prime Minister as the leader to take the charge. I think this is amazing. The BJP's own house is not in order. They understand they will be losing, and they have no answer to Mamata's developmental plan. I tell you, Duare Sarkar, the government is at your door now. It's going up like anything, leaps and bounds. Over 70 lakhs people have registered already.
Okay.
In the last 10-12 days.
Okay.
This is huge. I mean, you can talk about and then again, the last but not the least, who is against Mamata? who is going to contest against Mamtadi, because Mamtadi is going to fight election in all the 294 assembly segment. That we know. The elections will be fight on the image of Mamtadi and her developmental plan.
Okay.
BJP will try to derail the whole process by.
You've made your point, Manojit ji. Let me bring in Mr.
I want to understand.
Yes,
For
yes.
argument's sake, let us assume the charges for true for a moment. So I don't accept it. How many Rohingyas are there in Bengal?
Okay, so Manojit ji, let's take it one by one. Mr. Gopal Krishna Agrawal, these are some very serious allegations that you have made before the Election Commission, and it's in writing that you've given. Voter fraud, Rohingyas being included in the voter list. What evidence do you have to substantiate? That is what TMC is asking, and more importantly, if there was voter list fraud that was actually happening, how come BJP put up a stellar performance in the 2019 Lok Sabha election? That's what Manojit is asking.
I just want one question to be answered by TMC representative. Did not a court say that in the local body panchayat election, how many people were elected by TMC unopposed? Where were the people who were opposing them?
Yes.
Were they killed? They were out of fear that they were not able to stand for the elections. Was BJP not there? Our people, more than 130 BJP karyakartas over some months have been killed, murdered, and their postmortems are not happening. These are not allegations. These are the facts. These are allegations come after this fact. The fact is, TMC won many of the local body panchayat election without any opposition, and the court objected to this process. They had to change the observers to change officers there. So after this, and the people.
Yeah, Manojit, I'll just come to you. I'll come to you. I'll give you the opportunity to respond.
Our central leader, our president, was his convoy is attacked in the way.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right in saying that Mr. Nadda's convoy was attacked.
No, you asked me how these allegations. These are the facts, and allegations are after this. So first they have to deny the fact. Then
No,
they can
sir,
say that
sir,
these
let's
are
accept
allegations.
it that there was an attack on Mr. JP Nadda's convoy. Nobody can deny that. Look at those visuals which are there on the camera. Now the government there claims that they have filed cases, they have arrested people. Let's see how that investigation goes forward, because BJP has raised, your party has raised a lot of question on that investigation bit as well, that it's not a free and fair investigation which is happening.
It will be, investigation will take place. Our after that also 2 of our karyakartas have been brutally murdered. The courts have to order re-postmortem. The local police officers do not even indulge in postmortem, do not investigate them. How many people they have finally closed the report on 130 people of BJP karyakartas having been murdered?
Yeah,
So-
and that is one of the points that
these
you're
are the
making.
facts.
That is one of the points that you're also making in your representation to the Election Commission. Before I go to Manojit once again, Mr. Vijay Shankar Pandey, I want to take your view. What's your assessment of the situation? You have heard both the sides. BJP is saying that the State Employees Association has vowed to support DD and they should not be given any administrative duties for the election. Will the EC, will the Election Commission be able to hold a free and a fair election in this atmosphere of deep mistrust?
See, this is not the first time that these kind of allegations have been made against the ruling party, particularly in sensitive states like West Bengal. Things develop like this only, and the party which is contesting the elections forcefully and trying to dislodge the incumbent has to create an environment. So BJP has to create that, and then in case they have real apprehensions, they are very well within their rights to raise these issues. But I'd like to make 2 points. One, as far as the Election Commission is concerned, they have full powers to see that wrong names are not included in the electoral rolls. Dead peoples are not included in the electoral rolls. Rohingyas and others who are not citizens of India, their names are not included in the electoral rolls. They can always order an inquiry. They have all the electoral rolls are made under the supervision of the Election Commission. But as far as the issue of imposing the model code of conduct 6 months in advance, I don't think this is a fair kind of demand. And as far as the free and fair elections are concerned, let me tell you, after the elections are announced, the whole electoral machinery and the police force comes under the influence of under the jurisdiction of the Election Commission. From there starts the real power of Election Commission, and then they can deploy as many central forces as they want to ensure that free and fair elections take place. And I have been part of the election process for so many years. I can tell you, after the electoral, voting machines have come and the central forces have started being deployed, rigging of election is next to impossible.
Yeah.
You can create violence after that.
Yeah.
But during the poll process, it's impossible. So there should not be any apprehension on the part of the BJP that elections will be rigged. Yes,
If
violence
you
can take place
manipulate the
because it's a political
electoral
environment.
roles.
And, law and order is a state subject. But still, the courts are there, judiciary is there. The BJP has to ensure that justice is done. In case the state government doesn't listen,
Going back to Manojit. Manojit, we can't deny the fact that the panchayat elections were not the best of the experience you can have in a democracy. I remember that case very well at the Supreme Court, and the sort of oversight that the court had to maintain. Many candidates that were elected unopposed also raised the ire of the Supreme Court as well. How do you respond to these allegations of voter fraud or a model code of conduct being implemented 6 months ahead? They have lost complete faith in the state police machinery. That is what the BJP is arguing. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll answer all the charges. First of all, I'm not representing that party, TMC. I am a very poor professor.
We understand.
Heavily inclined towards the party, of course. My inclinations are well known. That's must be made clear.
Yes.
The thing is that talking about the panchayat election, ultimately Supreme Court has given a thumping approbation to the election. Nothing happened. And you talk about the panchayat election, what happened in Tripura? 95% of the seats were went uncontested. 90% of the seats in Uttarakhand went uncontested. These are local body elections. I mean, people really don't think much about that. And talking about the voters' fraud, look at the demography of the areas where BJP won in the 2019 election. Is all the border areas, especially in the North Bengal. Do they mean to say that they also had the same kind of voting? The fraud voting. I'm making the charge. Think about this JP Nadda's episode. We are all condemning that episode. But it appears right now that this was a well-orchestrated plot.
Gopalji, I'm coming to you. Gopalji, I'm coming to you after this. I'm coming to you.
Heckle Mamta Di for the last 2-3 years. I mean, the people arrested, most of them are BJP men. Now it appeared, you may not be knowing this, Anusha, most of the people arrested in these particular incidents are actually from the BJP. So I mean, what is we can?
Manojit, that's where the argument becomes circular in nature, and there is no way to verify it because the BJP says you will never go ahead and arrest a TMC worker. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, you want to respond to that? How is it that the BJP did so well in the border areas, in the border districts of Bangladesh, if the voter list was being manipulated?
No, the voter list, what we are saying is, now that time after seeing 2019 election is really what has worried Mamta Banerjee. She was very confident earlier that I am going to sail through and I am going to win. When she found that the BJP's vote share in 2019 has risen to 40%, now this manipulation, fear psychosis, all this is being brought about by the TMC. One thing is when Mr. Banerjee said that Mamta, we are condemning the incident of JP Nadda ji.
Yes.
What Mamta ji has said, what language she used, and their leaders and their ministers are saying that we will not allow outsider, insider.
Yeah.
What do you mean by this in India? So these statements in itself prove that there is partisan way and a violence being unleashed by Mamta herself. And you see videos everywhere. There were TMC people showing flags and throwing stones, and what police was there. Heavy deployment of police was there. What they were doing that time, they were not stopping. So even the route program, everything, apprehension was given to the police. Chief Secretary, Governor, they are not listening. So
I do take your point. I do take your point, Gopalji. Let me also bring in Mr. Subir Bhaumik into the discussion. Sir, you've observed the politics of Bengal for decades now. Does it seem like to you that perhaps new political parties have come in, but the script is the old one of violence on the street, bloody nature, strange sort of normalization of these instances, the sort of complaints that we are witnessing at the Election Commission? Your assessment towards a free and a fair election in Bengal?
Well, that's an expectation, not always a reality. Let me also make it very clear, let's differentiate these various charges because you clump them together, you create more confusion. Voter fraud is one thing. Getting wrong names, those who are not citizens into the electoral roll. My first point is, if somebody is not a citizen, how is he staying in the village? Be it a border village or Calcutta or anywhere. If A is not a voter and the BJP thinks he is not a voter and his name is there in the electoral roll because he's a foreigner, then the BJP should actually, move the police and everybody else and try to get these people.
But is it possible for them to do it? Because, sir, then there are a lot of questions that are raised on the impartiality of the Election Commission as well, because it is their job to ensure that there are no fraud voters on the list.
That's one.
Yeah.
That's one. That's a well-made point. The other thing is, I have a major sort of issue when this Rohingya thing comes up, because I understand Myanmar very well and also the Rohingyas in Bangladesh, and I have sources in all these Rohingya organizations. Rohingyas, for them, India is no longer an attractive destination. You will find them getting into leaky boats and trying to reach Southeast Asia and other parts. But after the government of India, even Kiren Rijiju, as the Union Minister of State for Home Affairs, when he made that statement that 40,000 Rohingyas in India will be thrown out, they will be sent back. The Rohingyas are not really coming anymore.
So you don't really
India.
buy into that. You don't really buy into that entire argument of Rohingyas coming.
Well, Bangladesh has a better economy than India now.
All right.
Their GDP rate is.
All right. Let me take the BJP's view as well on that story. Let me take that view. Let me take BJP's view also on that story.
That makes no sense to
Dr.
me,
Geeta Bhatt, you heard what Subir is talking about. That India is no longer the place where Rohingyas would want to come. The data may show otherwise. The data may show otherwise. BJP is arguing that the illegal infiltrators continue to cross the border.
But if you raise this now, you're not making the sense.
I hear you, sir. I hear you. But enforcing a model code of conduct 6 months before even the poll dates have been announced, is that even legally permissible for the BJP to make that demand? Geeta.
Well, you see, it is a very, very unique situation when you talk about West Bengal vis-a-vis the other states in the country when it comes to the electoral process. Well, we have already listened and we all know that what happened during the Panchayati elections, those who were elected and did not belong to TMC, few of them, they had to hide for months together in Jharkhand after the election was over and they were elected because they feared for their life just because they were able to manage to win the election in spite of the, the kind of process and the violence and the murder that took place. We all saw it. Yeah. We all saw how the ballot boxes, they were all thrown in the rivers because that was a paper ballot which was used. And after that, second point is that in the 2019 Lok Sabha election, the kind of the kind of vote share that the BJP has been able to manage, and the kind of inroads that they have made in the last couple of years, that is something which definitely for Mamata Banerjee as well as for TMC is something that they are looking with some kind of an apprehension. And the kind of sequence which has happened, the kind of political murders which are taking place almost every week, where people largely from BJP and from some other political parties also, there are their political workers, their murders are taking place, and the kind of environment which is there, that itself, puts that how the whole process of in spite of the election commission taking over and following the whole laid down process, the standard operating procedure, still it is important that for the local law and order, it is the state police which at many functions.
But Geeta ji, legally speaking, once the model code of conduct is enforced, once the election dates are announced, it's the election commission which is going to take over the entire administration. Just a quick word from you, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, before I move on to another aspect and another layer of this entire debate. Talking about election commission, they have a difficult task at hand. Internationally, we have seen, compared to say a country like US, EC does a fantastic job of conducting elections in this country. Do you as a party have full faith on the competence of the Election Commission to hold free and fair elections in this polarized atmosphere?
Definitely, we have full confidence on the Election Commission. We have seen that holding elections in places like Kashmir, Ladakh, Jammu, where there are so much problem infiltration of terrorists, etc. But the local administration is supporting the election commission. That's very important. In West Bengal, what is the difference is election commission is fair and free and is competent. But the problem is the local administration is corrupt and they are trying to change the whole election. That is the problem. That is the main issue. And one thing I want to tell you is about why they are opposing the NRC if they are not worried about Rohingyas and Bangladesh illegal immigrant into settling in those border areas.
NRC is going to open a Pandora's box, and I'm sure all of us are going to have something to say about that. We'll talk about that. Manojit, I'll give you an opportunity to respond on that as well. I'm going to give you a
foreign infiltrators. How will you find out otherwise? They are saying that the Rohingyas do not find India attractive. From where they have got this?
And that is one strong pitch that the BJP has taken to the ground when it comes to the West Bengal election. NRC, Rohingyas or people illegally crossing the border. Now here's another layer to this entire debate. It's not just the violence due to which Mamata Banerjee is facing some very tough question. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's problems, they don't end with the onslaught of the BJP's allegation over TMC goons unleashing havoc. Perhaps a bigger problem for her are the rising rumblings within her own ranks. If you look at Nandigram strongman, Suvendu Adhikari, he is all but out of the TMC and a slew of others who have raised similar banners like the ones like Rajiv Banerjee or Jiten Tiwari, and there are others as well. Their exit also means that the vote share, these are blows to the party, to the TMC at a very critical juncture when the TMC would want to keep their flock together. Let's take you through some key names, the rebellion, the rumblings within the TMC. To begin with, Suvendu Adhikari tops that list, and one of the big leaders as far as TMC is concerned. He's all set to quit the TMC, expected on the 18th of December to join the BJP on the 19th. It is also expected that he might join in the presence of Home Minister. Talks with the BJP ahead, the leadership has been completed. That is what some BJP leaders have also indicated. Rajiv Banerjee is another disgruntled leader. He held talks with the TMC top brass. Still no indications of his future political plans. It is being alleged that there is no growth within the party for able leaders. There have been many who are not really happy with the manner in which TMC has been functioning to skip the summons issued by the party sources. Jiten Tiwari, you'd remember that letter when he said that the central government funds were blocked by the state government. That's another name which is coming up, Jitendra Tiwari, but it looks like that he'll go ahead and talk to Didi about his problems and this could be sorted out. He was slammed by the party he slammed the party for blocking the central funds. As I just told you, Asansol was deprived of key central funds for a smart city project that the city could have got. Now, Bechara Manna, he led Singur movement, has offered to quit over differences. You also have Jagdish Basonia. He questioned the internal changes recommended by Prashant Kishore, another name which allegedly has created a lot of ripples. And you also have Hazi Niamot Sheikh. He is the MLA. It's a big Muslim face within the TMC, and his exit could be very detrimental for the party. We're getting some latest news as far as Suvendu Adhikari is concerned. Now, BJP sources are indicating that Suvendu Adhikari is likely to accept BJP flag from Home Minister Amit Shah, and this will happen at a public meeting. Amit Shah will be holding a rally in Midnapur on the 19th. This will be Adhikari's official entry into the BJP. That is what sources are indicating to us. Shogato Mukhopadhyay with us with more details. Shogato, over to you. Is this confirmed that this entry will happen in a grand manner? You will also have Home Minister Amit Shah present there.
Well, you see, earlier the Home Minister's schedule in Midnapur was that he was supposed to hold a meeting, a party meeting, an intra-party meeting with district presidents and district-level leaders of the organization in and around Midnapur. And that was supposed to be held at the Midnapur Sports Complex. What we are getting to know now is that, in the wake of the developments that have happened with regard to Suvendu Adhikari, Adhikari. Mr. Shah has, expressed his wish to address a public rally at the Midnapur College ground, and that is where Shubhendu Adhikari is likely to accept the BJP flag right from the hands of Home Minister Amit Shah. Two reasons for change of the schedule. One, of course, is that Shubhendu Adhikari, the son of the soil, accepting the BJP or switching over to the BJP needs to be a grand show. And Midnapur College ground is a huge ground which can actually accommodate over 1 lakh people in that region, from that region, and the BJP intends to make the most of it, given the fact that Shubhendu Adhikari's induction within the party should not be any less than a grand affair. That's point number one. The second point, of course, is only last week Mamata Banerjee herself had held a meeting on that Midnapur College ground with overflowing supporters of the Trinamool Congress. So the BJP intends to hold a counter rally to show the party's strength in that area, and Shubhendu Adhikari's induction.
And that is going to be one grand political entry, as my colleague Shogato is pointing out. Cutting across back to my guests, and Manojit, you had a lot of points that you wanted to respond to what Gopalji earlier was pointing out. Your reaction to the entry, to the, it's almost confirmed that Shubhendu Adhikari will join the BJP in the presence of Home Minister Amit Shah.
Mr. Gopal, I think, is a very nice spokesperson of the BJP. He is now actually had a Freudian slip about NRC. The Prime Minister said that there would be no NRC, but we know their plan. I mean, they are trying to win over Bengal because the maximum resistance about NRC came from Mamdadi. So it's quite natural for Mr. Gopal to actually expose their own plot. Now, coming back to the issue of Shubhendu Adhikari, I mean, I really don't have much to say about this. I mean, 6 months, 4 months before the election, you are, if you wish to go to some other political party, I think people of Bengal, I think, are quite intelligent enough to understand what is.
But doesn't it say something about the TMC as well, Manoj? Doesn't it say something about the TMC as well?
I mean, I really, I can only say that good riddance to them. I mean, nothing else. What Mamdadi has done for her party men, I think everyone knows. I mean, the kind of life that she led, it's an epitome of sacrifice on all counts. I mean,
well, I'm certain that Shubhendu Adhikari doesn't agree with that assessment. Let me also bring in Shubir Bhaumik once again into the discussion before I go to Gopal Krishna Agrawal as well and take his view. Shubirji, how do you see this situation with Shubhendu Adhikari jumping the ship? I mean, TMC may say, good riddance, if you want to go before the elections, go ahead. But you can't deny the fact that it's a huge dent for the TMC. He was a mass leader, one of the key mass leaders other than Mamta Didi in the party.
No, Shubhendu's loss is definitely a very big loss. And the fact that Trinamool itself realized that Shubhendu is an important leader is amply evident in the attempt that the Trinamool made to actually address his grievances and deploy a very senior, leader like Shogato Rai, who is an MP, very senior leader, to actually speak to Shubhendu and bring him back. So if they are saying now good riddance, it's like grapes are sour. So I don't really think that, the Trinamool would love to see the end of Shubhendu Adhikari in Trinamool and Shubhendu Adhikari in BJP. I mean, and this is a very major development if Shubhendu is going to BJP. I'm not, Shogato definitely has more information than I have because he's covering it day in and day out. But, there were rumblings that Shubhendu could set up his own separate party and have a seat sharing arrangement with BJP. But if he is going into the BJP, then I can tell you one thing for sure. Hooghly, Howrah, the two Midnapurs, the BJP has deployed a fantastic organizer there who is responsible for the victory in Tripura, Sunil Devdar. Sunil Devdar and Shubhendu Adhikari will make a very deadly combination. And things are not going to be very easy, even with all the Duare Sarkar. And the trouble is, Mamta Didi is alone. Abhishek Banerjee is no substitute for someone like Shubhendu Adhikari. Let me make it very clear.
Gopal
Yeah.
Krishna Agarwal,
The same
as
problem
Shubirji is
that
pointing
Mamta
out,
has with Abhishek Banerjee.
yes, as Shubirji is pointing out that if you get Suvendu Adhikari on
It's
your
the same
side,
problem Sheikh Hasina has back in Bangladesh when
Yes,
she tries to
yes.
project her own son.
yes,
who is
absolutely.
not really good enough.
So Gopalji, this
And
is
in
going
the
to be a
kind
huge
of
political
rough and
gain for
tumble of
you.
West
Your
Bengal
political
politics
calculations clearly
and
have gone
Bengali
right if you get
politics
Suvendu
that you see in
Adhikari on your
Bangladesh.
side. TMC is saying
softly
he's not
like-
going to make
softly
much of a
like
dent.
Abhishek
He's not going to
Banerjee.
make much of a dent. Good riddance if he wants to go. Why doesn't BJP have its own set of leaders? Why are you poaching from our party?
One thing, whatever brave face TMC may put now, only 2-3 days back they were hell desperate that Suvendu is our senior
Okay.
leader. They were after him that he should not leave. Second point important is that there is no question that he is an important leader of West Bengal. Why people are leaving TMC? Who leaves the party? Those when they leave the party with whom they have been working, one thing is that they think that the ship is going to sink. One thing. Second thing is that they are seeing there is a divergence in the leadership about what true promise they had given to the people, because every representative has to
Okay.
answer his own constituency, and they feel that the
I need to
promises
rebut.
with which TMC came to power, Mamta ji, nothing has been done. No parivartan, only corruption. Even
Gopalji, I'm short of time.
development.
It's only fair I allow Geeta Bhatt, Dr. Geeta Bhatt also
And
to make
no,
a quick point.
10 seconds.
Yes. Yes, sir.
One point.
Yes,
I
sir.
would like to say that I
I
would
need
like
10
to
seconds to
say
rebut.
Yes,
to the
Manuji,
people
I'll
of
come
West Bengal is that CAA and National Population Register are our agenda. They are on our manifesto. So
Okay.
definitely we are, because infiltration is a big problem in West
Geeta ji,
Bengal.
do you agree with the assessment what Shuvir Bhaumik was also pointing out, and he clearly knows Bengal politics very well, that it will be a huge dent for Mamta Banerjee? It's the sinking ship that many leaders want to get away from.
Well, yes, you see, Mamta Banerjee has been running the state as well as her, party as a personal fiefdom, and that is something, it's been a person-centric party, and now it is a
I need to
family-centric
rebut.
party.
Just 10
So
seconds.
Yes,
because
Manojit,
of
I'll
that,
give you.
those who are, those who had actually, made and worked for the party along with her, they have been feeling a little left out. And it has been, the sources say that the poll manager whom they have kept, even he has not been taken very positively by the senior leadership over there. And that is what there has been a discontentment among the political leadership, and therefore they are looking, and they can,
Okay.
they
Okay.
can see the mood of the people. The kind of change that has been taking
Absolutely.
place,
I'm
electorally,
sorry,
politically,
I don't have time. That's all we have time for. But Gopal Krishna Agarwal, Dr. Geeta Bhatt, Shuvir Bhaumik, Manojit Mandal, Vijay Shankar Pandey, thank you everyone for joining us on the broadcast. And clearly this debate will continue to go on. And clearly the battle lines have been drawn. We're slipping into a very short break, but on the other side we discuss cow politics, the contentious bill of the BJP-led Karnataka government called the Prevention of Slaughter and Preservation of Cattle Bill 2020, which opposition has sternly opposed. We discuss and debate on the other side.